What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Once again, looks like the Clippers and Jazz trade talks are in effect. And of course, the main player that seems to come up, that has came up before, is Mike Conley. Now, I will say this. I've been saying for a while the Clippers need a point guard. They need somebody to filter out their offense at times. When there's times when their offense looks too much predictable, looks like too much isolation. It looks like too much one-on-one basketball, not enough ball movement, not enough continuity on the offensive side at times. Just because they do have two really great players. Ball movement still is very key when you're trying to win championships and when you're trying to be on the top of the mountain amongst other teams and stand out amongst other teams in the NBA, because most teams in the NBA have dynamic players, but the reason why they don't win championships is because they don't have enough continuity on offense in regards to ball movement, having set plays, in regards to executing at a high level, no matter when the game is, no matter if they're up 10 points, no matter whether they're down 10 points or however the case may be, executing at a high level is very, very important. So, the Clippers getting a point guard or having a point guard definitely will better their chances of, getting to that mountaintop where they want to get, which is winning the championship, which is winning it all, which would be the first time in history they ever do so or have done so. So, now in regards to, Mike Conley and the trade talks, I've said before, Mike Conley is a really solid point guard. Mike Conley can give you very good, high quality basketball. He is a high IQ basketball player. He does play with an edge at times. He does play within his means as well. And he doesn't try to do too much on the offensive end of the floor, as in turning the ball over a lot, having too many mistakes, not running the offense the way it's supposed to. And he is a knockdown shooter as well. And like I said, he's pretty crafty around the rim still to be his age, and he can still kind of get to the rim a little bit, not as much as he could at one point when he was with the Grizzlies, back in the day, but he's still pretty comfortable point guard, and definitely can help a team win a championship if the team is built right. And the Clippers are definitely built right. They're definitely built for a championship. A lot of people think they're the scariest upcoming team this next season to actually win it, so, and I'm one of those people as well. So I definitely think that, it could be a lot of good, comes out of that if Mike Conley is acquired from the Utah Jazz. Now, this came up before about this, I'd say maybe about a month ago or less. And I spoke on this topic a little bit, and other players with the Utah Jazz as well. You can go to NBAanalysis.net. And read some more on this that's came out within the last couple of days. There's more topics. There's more to be read about it as well. So you can definitely check it out there. But, it looks like the Utah Jazz is really trying to blow up their situation, because the Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert thing just hasn't worked. And it hasn't worked for the most part, simply because I think, of course, those two just don't get along from what the reports have always said the last couple seasons. And on top of that, they just don't win. And I feel like, one thing, I feel like Donovan Mitchell probably thinks Rudy Gobert is a good player, but I think he feel like he's overrated, because he's so not a factor on offense. It really makes their team one dimension. It makes their team too predictable on offense, because he's really not a factor. He's only primarily a factor on defense. And there's also been talks about him, in the past month or so about, the Clippers trade acquisitions as well. But I think those trade talks might be ceased right now. We'll see what happens in the future. But as far as Mike Conley, that would be a good pickup for the Clippers, of course, because like I say, he's a seasoned veteran. He knows what he's doing. He's been in big playoff games. He's knocked down big shots. He's made big plays. He can assist the ball real well. His assist to turnover ratio is really good. And just last season, he was averaging 13 points and 5 assists on 43% shooting from the field, which is very, very solid numbers. Very, very good numbers for a point guard like him, who is more of an old school type point guard who can give you, a multitude of looks on offense in regards to how he plays. He can get to to the rim, as I said. He can step back with a jumper. He can also, pass the ball really well and effective with less turnovers and shoot a pretty good percentage as well and efficient. And that's what, the Clippers like. Clippers like efficient type guys, and they definitely would embrace that because their best player is very efficient. So adding somebody like him would be very, very good if they're able to. Now, in regards to the trade proposal would be Mike Conley and Hernan Gomez, one of the players off the bench, for Luke Kennard and Marcus Morris. Now, that's the only problem that I have with this whole situation. The Clippers, if they were to go through with this trade, I think they need to propose something else. I don't think Luke Kennard should be a part of that equation. I do like, of course, Marcus Morris. A lot of people think his time in LA is done. His expiration date has been done. And I'm one of the people that wouldn't. I'll say this. I'm kind of torn between it, to be honest with you. Ty Lue says he wants everybody to come back this next season to run it back one more time for a championship. That would be great in regards to just seeing everybody come back and they actually make a way and win it. And like I said, they can definitely use Marcus Morris' toughness, but they definitely can't use Marcus Morris' inconsistency. And that's the thing with Marcus Morris that bothers me. The money that he's making, $10 to $16 million per year, is not worth the production that he's putting out, because at times, there's a lot of times where his production doesn't look like the money he's making because he doesn't play up to the level that people think that he can, and he's just not consistent with it. He was giving the Clippers a consistent 19 points a game, or consistent 17 points a game, in moments where it really matters, like in a playoff game or, something like that. If he was giving them consistency in big moments that really matter, it would be different. But, there's a lot of times you look in the regular season and in playoff games, he kind of fades away from the spotlight a little bit, and not saying he's a superstar player or anything like that, but he should be more consistent with the money he's getting paid and the reputation that he has as a player in regards to being a good two-way player and, going out there playing his best. But there's a lot of inconsistency in his game, and I've pretty much gotten over, his inconsistency ways, and I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they do let him go. But I personally think if the Clippers were going to trade anybody, I don't, he could possibly be one of them. I can definitely see him being one of them simply because his name has been put out there the last couple of seasons, actually. But Luke Kennard is one I think they should keep. They should find a way around that one, not give up Luke Kennard, one of the best three-point shooters in the league, and coming off your bench that supplies you with offense and a toughness and a grittiness on both ends of the court, and goes out there. And he was definitely one of your star players, last year. If you look at, how he played with the Clippers, he definitely was one of the ones that helped the Clippers stay afloat and keep their season alive, along with the Reggie Jackson and the rest of the guys. But Luke Kennard was a big reason why last year was a success for the Clippers, rather than a down season for them where they didn't even make the play-in tournament possibly, or the playoffs, but they did making the play-in tournament. And Luke Kennard was a big reason why. And I don't think you need to take away your bench like that, because your bench gives you a lot of depth, and he's a big part of the reason why the Clippers have a lot of depth. So in my opinion, the trade for Mike Conley would be feasible. I just don't feel like Luke Kennard should be one of those pieces. If they wanted to, I hate to get rid of like somebody like Amir Coffey or somebody like that, or maybe if they want to throw Marcus Morris in there, with Amir Coffey, or maybe not him, maybe somebody else off the bench or something like that. I would be fine with that, but don't get rid of Luke Kennard. I think that would be a big mistake by the Clippers, because I feel like he's a part of the culture. He's a big part of it. And like I said, he's only ascending. He's not, downgrading at all. He's only getting better and better with time. And like I said, the more reps that he's getting, the more comfortable he is. And like I said, you need a lethal three-point shooter out there, because this league is all about, scoring, shooting threes, and, basically from that standpoint is what the league is all about. It's not really, passing it into the paint like back in the day to the big man and let him score like Shaquille O'Neal back in the day and just dominate. It's about shooters and perimeter shooting now. It's about, having shooters all around, being versatile on offense, not being predictable on offense, having shooters everywhere on the floor to make the offense a little bit more unpredictable rather than being predictable as it used to be back in the day playing basketball. So taking away a shooter like Luke Kennard is not helping the Clippers. To me, that's hurting them because, like I said, he's one of the players that they're trying to build upon in regards to their future. And Mike Conley is one of those players' future that's coming to an end. He's got maybe 2 or 3 good years left in him, if that much maybe. And, after that, Mike Conley would be probably looking to retire. So it's no need to get rid of one of your main youthful players for a player like Mike Conley. And like I said, a player like Mike Conley, you never know if he gets hurt or something like that, and if he doesn't play a whole season. Now hypothetically, you don't have a Marcus Morris or you don't have a Luke Kennard, or they might give up another valuable piece. You don't want to give away your valuable pieces, because if you do that, that takes away from your depth as a team, which makes you unique amongst other teams in the NBA right now. So, to me, like I said, if they want to give away somebody else further down the bench along with Marcus Morris, I'd be fine with that. But I don't think they should give up Luke Kennard as one of those pieces. I feel like him, Terrence Mann, players like that, I feel like you should keep those type players. Those are the 2 guys that come off the bench that supply you both ends of the floor. Now, Luke Kennard is more offensive. Terrence Mann is more defensive, but but both of them, they give you balance. One is more deep. One could play defense better. One could play offense better. That's what we call balance. And that's what the Clippers don't want to take away from themselves, balance, because your bench is very important. And I've always said, any team that wins a championship, their bench is usually always pretty good. It's not many times you can remember where a team has won a championship and their bench wasn't decent to very, very good or damn near great. There's not really one team you could think of that didn't have that. So my point is, the Clippers, what makes them unique, they got 2 wing defenders, a superstar player in Kawhi, all-star player in Paul George, who can play, both ends of the floor at such a high level. And then you got, other players in the starting lineup who makes up for, some defensive issues as well. Then you got, guys off the bench who can score, who brings a balance of scoring and toughness and defense and grittiness. The Clippers are pretty much stacked all the way around, is what I'm trying to say, as a team. So when you take away some of your depth like that, it's really only going to hurt you. So to me, if the Clippers go after anybody, whatever point guard it is or whoever, they really have to understand they can't give up much to get them. They have to kind of be reluctant and, maybe either land somebody because they want to come there, or give up very, very minimal to get them, because like I said, giving away certain players is going to lessen your chances of winning. You see what I'm saying? So, they already gave up a crucial player, I thought, last year in Serge Ibaka, even though Serge is not the player he once was, but I still think he gave them good minutes when he did get on his feet a little bit. And I felt like his wisdom would have helped them in a playing situation like they were in against the playing tournament against a team like the Timberwolves or the Pelicans. I feel like him being out there, giving them a little bit more versatility might even help them. So you already gave away a player that had some value. Don't give away more players that have value, because when you do that, you're lessening your chances. And the Clippers have been known to, do bad contracts, do bad signings and, bad trades over the years. They've been known for that. So stop being known for that and break that curse and do things the right way. Whoever point guard you get, make sure you don't have to give up but so much of what you have that makes you unique to get one guy who might not even last a season, one guy who might get injured. You know what I'm saying? You can't count on, you can never count on one person. If you got a multitude of personnel, that's more reliable than personnel who's not, who hasn't been there, who hasn't been a part of the culture, and who you don't even know whether would even fit in the culture. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, the Clippers got to be careful with that. But overall, as I said, I think Mike Conley would be a great pickup for the Clippers. I mean, I think he would be an awesome pickup for them. But just they got to try to find a way not to give up too much to get him. And if he's too much, then don't go after him. Go after somebody else. I mean, hell, if that's the case, go after a backup point guard. You don't really necessarily need a starting point guard. I mean, because Reggie Jackson does do pretty good in the point guard position, even though it's not really his thing. But at the same time, he does it good for at least a few quarters per game. And then maybe the third, fourth quarter, sometime, he'll, flame out a little bit because he's tired, because he's actually a shooting guard playing as a point guard role. So if the Clippers need a point guard, in order not to give up too much, then go after like a backup point guard. Don't go after somebody with a big name or a bigger name like Mike Conley. Go after somebody with a smaller name, smaller contract, and it'd be a lot easier to bring them on, and be a lot easier for you to bring them on without giving up anything, giving up too much of your assets. And see, that's what the Clippers got to realize. Find a way to do that. If you can't find a way to bring in a player like Mike Conley, there's other ways. As long as you got a point guard, whether he's a backup point guard or not, or comes off the bench, or whatever the case may be, find a way to do that, because you're still going to have balance. Because if that's the case, Reggie Jackson can play the point guard for 1 or 2 quarters, and then you can rotate and have the backup point guard come in and play point guard, because that's actually his natural position. And it'll take more pressure off Reggie Jackson, so he can be the shooting guard that we know him to be. And it actually take more pressure off him in regards to his fatigue too, because it gets tiring for Reggie Jackson to be the point guard, setting up everybody's plays, and on top of that, trying to score himself and make good decisions, not turn the ball over. It's a lot mentally to be a point guard. So it's like, bare minimum, get a backup point guard if you have to. Don't go out there and spend all your assets on one guy who might not work out, and you gave up so much. Now the team is missing some of his depth, which will make them such a great team. There's no need doing that. So hopefully whatever decision the Clippers make, hopefully it's a good one, and hopefully it pans out to be true, and it allows them to get to their ultimate destination, which is win a championship. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.